Thank you. Time back on. That's rough, big boy.
Gus and Gawny, we're back, and it's much better to start the week off a W.
100%.
We had a review on the podcast last week.
Internal review.
We sat down, and those that think we don't judge ourselves, we do.
We weren't trademark last week.
We weren't. We were far from trademark, and it was probably similar to the game to Crows as well. I don't think we'll trademark that day as well.
No.
And we apologise to our loyal listeners about the gusto. Gusto's a Hamish and Andy term, so I should be careful there. But the
Hamish won't mind us using it. It probably reflects exactly where we were at. That's the best word for it.
Yeah,
we had none.
We're on such a high after Ryan.
Yeah,
Ryan Shelton, that is, and we started off with Clayton last week. Not sure if that was the smartest move from us.
Selection, look, and it comes down to selection as well. You know, selection wins and loses games. We probably made it harder for ourselves with Clayton. You know. He's and I heard some good feedback. Jess, was it Jess who said that?
Are we allowed to mention
good?
Jess?
Well, we'll get to that soon. Okay. He was really good. His post-game interview, he's gone from saying 4 squares, in the, whatever, to pretty decent post-game interview.
4 walls this time, which is good.
4 walls.
Yeah. If he went for, I haven't seen the post-match interview, but if he went for the same line, that's gutsy.
That is gutsy. But anyway, so we've got Nibbler on this week. Obviously, people see the guest the second they click on the episode.
But we've decided to start off the top with a stalwart of the podcast, just to bring us back.
A stalwart.
Get us back to where we should be.
Yeah.
And that's Benny Gibson. What's the jingle?
It's Benny Gibson.
He's got the news.
He's got the news.
I love it. Run with what works.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. I kind of look at that whiteboard. That camera can't see it.
Mate, you could adjust it, Rick.
Please get the camera on it.
No, you're not allowed to write Lulu.
So we're
cutting this.
We're in a room that usually has a bit of match play, that sort of stuff on the wall. So Gus decided to put some podcast tips.
Yep.
So we've run with the news early. Obviously, there's a fair bit going on in the world at the moment. I think last week my news section probably would have been irrelevant by the time the podcast went out. I think we're in lockdown already. At the moment, there's been 5 COVID cases again today for a third day in a row.
That's hot off the press.
It is.
Isn't it? Usually gets released around 9:30.
Yeah.
What time are we now? About 11?
10 past 11.
It's not bad.
Oh, no, it's great. Yeah. I didn't know. So you've given me news.
So what comes from
that?
Are
they linked? Everyone wants to know if they're linked.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't
That's
know.
all right. Great start. No speculation.
When is the presser? When's the Dan? Who's Dan Andrews' sidekick?
I don't know his name off the top of my head. It's not my strongest area.
I've hit you with some questions that you were unprepared for.
He's not a political reporter.
I'm happy to say that I was unprepared for that. That's not my area of expertise. I can tell you that there were 5 cases, but how that affects football is more to my job description, and it's affecting us because we can't play in Alice Springs this week. And they won't let us in. And this is fresh news. We are going to play at Giants Stadium on Friday night.
Good record there last year.
2 from 2.
2 from 2.
So,
Fortress.
That's same time, different place, Giant Stadium. I think there will be a crowd there, so hopefully we can get some Melbourne supporters.
That was our first game of a crowd last year, and I remember there was about 1,000 up that top level, and you could hear every word one of the guys was saying.
When they were running off the ground.
You could hear every word.
Melky had a bit of chat.
Yeah, Melky went back at 1. Yeah. That's right. Gold Coast and Hawthorn were the 2 games.
Yeah.
Hawthorn was the first. No, Gold Coast was the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love Spotless Stadium. I think it's a great ground.
We've got a spotless record there. And
do we get to stay in Manly?
I'd like to.
Wow.
That would be preferable.
That's where this started.
Imagine that.
We'll be going back to where the podcast started. That would be amazing.
Wow. It isn't called Spotless anymore. Just for a sponsorship point of view, just runs by Giant Stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a smart sponsor choice by them.
Yeah.
As in Giant the bike? Sponsor them?
No,
Giants is in. It'd be like calling
naming rights.
the
Melbourne
MCG
Stadium.
Demons.
They've decided to ditch any money and go just name it after themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bold strategy.
Let's see if it pays off.
It's like Rod Laver doesn't get too much money, but their Hisense does.
Do you reckon Rod
they've
Laver's
just changed to John Cain Arena, so they're not getting any money either.
Yeah, right.
Does they pay John Cain in that place? Or is it just like, here you go, mate, we've named a stadium after you?
Who's John Cain?
Tokenistic.
Or Rod Laver?
Too sure.
I don't know. Must be a tennis player.
Yeah. We're out of your expertise again.
Yeah, again. Anyway, we'll bring it back. We're not sure at this stage what round 13 looks like. So round 12 in Sydney potentially could be staying up there for a little while longer. This is all speculation. At the moment, you'd say it's unlikely that we're going to have 100,000 at Queen's birthday at the G.
That was unlikely pre this, wasn't it?
No, I think the Melbourne fans are pretty excited.
No, in terms
in
of
the
100%
capacity?
Capacity, were we there yet?
Well, prior to I'm pretty sure prior to we had 100,000.
I can see the
This is
doubt
your
in your
area of
eyes.
expertise.
There is doubt. I'm sure it was back to 100%, wasn't it?
I reckon it was 85 is my gut feel.
Look,
but-
hey, I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah.
But do you think we'll be back? I mean, Mr. Newsman. This
would be
potentially.
speculation. I personally would be surprised if there's a crowd at the MCG on Queen's birthday.
Will we play at the MCG, do you think?
I'm going to guess no.
Okay.
Where are Collingwood playing this week?
That hasn't been announced yet, I don't believe.
Who are they playing? Do you know?
No.
I reckon I know. I think they're playing Adelaide, and it's supposed to be in Adelaide. So that will probably decide if Collingwood end up coming back to Melbourne. Then we'll come back to Melbourne and play MND game in front of no one.
Are you correct, Max? Adelaide, Collingwood.
I've done my homework.
Good on you.
I come in prepared.
Some of us have. Some of us haven't.
What else?
Well, the Indigenous Guernsey caused a little bit of
Bit of controversy.
So people were disappointed in the club for not wearing it. It wasn't, I don't want to put blame elsewhere, but it wasn't the club's decision.
It was Claire's fault.
It was the AFL's decision that it was going to clash. People thought, well, if Essendon and Collingwood both got to wear the exact same Anzac Day jumper, potentially we could have worn ours.
Yep.
We didn't, but we will wear it against Brisbane.
I saw a game yesterday during my lockdown at home. Richmond, Adelaide, both teams weren't wearing the Indigenous jumper. What's the clash? I mean, again, you're probably underprepared with that, but it seems weird that in a round, for the Sir Doug Nicholls round, it's sort of split over 2 weeks, and I feel like we should be told who we're playing in this round so we can organise a jumper. That our jumper looks so special.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure it would have been disappointed for some, and it was disappointing for me that we weren't able to wear it. I did enjoy the exchange of the gifts.
That's always awesome. I love seeing that.
And then Steve came back and nailed the pre-game speech.
Didn't he?
And
Big time. He's had practice though.
I'm going to give it to him again.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, where he did one against the Spud game, he was 150, and he did the speech then as well, so he's 2 from 2.
Well, I mean, he played a lot of games as captain for Gold Coast, so he's had a bit of practice.
He has had a bit of practice. We've got 3 ex-captains at our club. I reckon that would be up there with the most.
Yeah, I mean, do you know the answer, Ben?
Potentially next year, Sydney could have 3 ex-captains, seeing they've got so many current captains.
You're giving them all the raspberry. Yeah, right. Anything else?
On the Indigenous Guernsey, so it was designed, they're designed 12 months out.
Yeah.
So at that point, you got no idea
we're playing doggies.
Yeah. So but unless the AFL wanted to schedule based on the jumpers, it is a tough one. And I think that would have part of the reason why they've stretched it over 2 weeks.
That jumper in pretty much every other team, it was a real navy blue type sense to it. Maybe Carlton we might have struggled with, but there's 16 teams. We're pretty stiff.
Roll the dice, yeah, exactly. I'm taking the odds that we'll be all right, and just wasn't the case. It looks like I lost all my money. So, anyway.
On Queen's birthday, Jeff Farmer is going to be going down the slide.
The wizard.
We don't know where the slide is at the moment.
Going down with Kobe?
He'll be going down, and as will Kobe Farmer. Well, I don't know if Kobe's nominated for the mid-season draft, but the mid-season draft is this Wednesday night.
Jeez, that's come up quick.
Yeah.
We've got a pick, don't we?
We have a pick available.
Are we still looking at that?
It'll be at the back end due to the fact we are top of the ladder.
We're still looking at that.
No, keep it under wraps.
Werribee connection?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Choco. That lasted a week.
A little bit less than that. But the mid-season draft is on, so potentially we could be adding another rookie to the mix.
If you had to go out on a limb and pick a position that we potentially need some cover for, I think if we lost a back right now, a tall back,
Okay.
with Marty Hoare.
So what I'm hearing is bring back Oscar McDonald.
With Marty Hoare and Adam Tomlinson both injured.
Yeah, okay.
If Harry Petty, Jake Lever or Stephen May happen to go down, touch wood, Tom McDonald would probably end up being the next choice. So I reckon a tall back might be something we look at. I haven't spoken to Jace Taylor.
Big Jace Taylor.
Last time I recommended a ruckman. He lasted 2 years on the list, and he's now dominating in the VAF for Lockie Filipovic, I must say. So maybe he's a late bloomer.
And he's helping me with, we're in the same uni class.
The story is I picked Lockie Filipovic over Oscar McInerney, which is false. Funny enough, I play Oscar McInerney this week, who is a great ruckman. But
and look, Flippo, if you're listening, mate, you know we're in this together, but that's a bad take from
I
me.
ruck coached Lockie Filipovic at Ormond initially, under 16s, and then he went to Dragons, and I went to Dragons, funny enough, and did some ruck coaching at Dragons. And he played Sean Darcy, Vic Metro v Vic Country, and he beat him. And Sean Darcy's gone on to be what looks like a number one AFL ruckman in the future. So I feel like I was onto something there with Filipovic, but must have missed it. Anyway, that was me. That was my recruiting days.
I want to run with my favourite.
Sorry, before
We'll just pause. It'll be Nibbler.
We're a non-cut podcast, but This is Claire.
You can come in and sit and watch.
Nibba.
Hey, Johnny.
Welcome, Nibs.
We'll just wrap up this segment, then we'll get to. Sorry for locking the door. Good to see you.
I want to run with my favourite line from the game on Friday night. It was Tom McDonald took a mark right on the 3/4 time zone.
Yes.
Lined up from 60. Probably should have gone the torp.
So someone told him to kick a torp, and he's like, he turned and said, and because everyone could hear everything, I was able to hear, I just can't kick a torp, mate. It's not going to happen.
And that came up on the mic, said it?
So I could just hear it.
You could hear it.
So he lines up, he kicks it. This is probably never going through, or well short. And I reckon about 20 metres into the kick, Gus yells out, "It's a chance!" Really, I reckon added some salt into the wounds.
It didn't. It was not a chance at any stage. But, you just got to...
It's quite funny. It was quite loud from especially the 22 boys that were playing. We were quite loud on the weekend.
Especially Jake Lever.
You have to bring the energy.
He is phenomenal.
We created our own energy.
Yeah. For example, Jake Lever, let's say 21 players and the runner and the coach have all worked out. Let's say in the last 3 minutes we want to go to slow ball movement or something like that. We'll say slow ball movement because I'm not going to give away a game plan.
Sure.
And so everyone's yelling out slow ball movement. And then 30 seconds later, Jake Lever finds out and yells it out of the top of his lungs. It's Sandra Sully with the late news. We've all found out, but he makes us all turn around to look at him, to acknowledge him as well.
So that's a subtle dig there, Rick.
No, it's not a subtle dig.
Well, he's just very slow and doesn't get messages.
It wasn't subtle at all.
It was overt. It was an overt dig.
Well, I don't know what that word means. What?
It means you're not hiding it. It's you just.
I presume that, but what was it again?
Overt.
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 The other thing to come from the game, as Nibbler watches maybe some NBA highlights or something in the background.
Jeez, that's a first.
And it probably segues into the next segment potentially. I don't want to tell you how to run the podcast, but
sure, please don't.
Ed Langdon.
You do most steps.
Ed Langdon unfortunately went down with concussion, so he will miss this week's game, 12-day period that they have to sit on the sidelines. Gus, you've had your share of concussions. Do you like the 12-day rule?
Love it. I think I'm on record saying that I think it's a great step in the right direction. It's not the final answer. I'm sure it's going to continue to evolve. There'll be more research done, but it's in my opinion, which is not exactly the most educated, although I've read some of the studies and have had, as you've said, some experience myself. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Well, I dare say you'd be up there with one of the more educated in this area.
Well, certainly compared to the three of us on concussions, I probably know. I guess.
I haven't been concussed, Ben.
No, I'm pretty bruise-free in most aspects of my life.
Haven't had a bouncer bowled in your head?
I like the short ball, actually.
Do you?
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Well, so I think it's a step in the right direction. And, Lingers, I don't know. Do you know what happened? I think he got hit in the back of the head.
I just saw the headband go flying.
Wow, say no more.
Can we potentially have both wingers wearing helmets?
Well, that's an internal wingers club discussion that we'll have. But it'd make me happy. I've got one for Lingers. I know you're listening, Lingers.
Yeah. Did you wear a new one on the weekend? There seemed to be a red patch in the back that I haven't noticed before.
No, it's a 2021. That's been here for the whole year.
Okay, sorry. I mustn't have seen the back of you much.
It's all right. I'm just in defence helping out. So when you're looking at me, you just see the front.
Receiving a lot of credit recently too, Gus. Melbourne Sports been.
Well, it's a grand old flag. We're 10. Oh, as in me?
Yeah, individually. People are starting to recognise his defensive efforts.
Defensive stuff.
I think role players are starting to get...
well, the Wings Club's full of them. So... let me defer to my fellow Wingers Club members. Make it easy for me.
Anything else, Ben?
No, that's all good for me.
That was good off the start.
Yeah, we're back.
We'll go to a break and we'll come back with our guests and we'll run through the rest of the potty.
Yep.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love the D's.
Welcome back. Thanks to our dear friends at Zurich.
Yep, Zurich is there. We've also got Barbie Onions.
Before you go, I think Zurich deserve the first two spots. So Zurich and Zurich.
Yep, Zurich. Our other friend Zurich.
Yep.
East End Wine Bar.
Barbie Onions. No affiliated sportswear apparel. Just New Balance.
We love New Balance.
Land Rover. No, Jaguar.
No cuts. Geez, who else? Yeah, I'm just about to do it. Clutch and Co. Squash.
Let's welcome our guests.
Everyone knows who it is.
Class of 2014. There's not how many left?
Track. Well, I mean, Porter's still playing, but he's
so you've counted Porter in the four?
Nah, Vanders.
Vanders as well.
Is it class of 14?
Yep, rookie draft.
Alex Neal-Bullen.
Thanks,
welcome.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Nibbler, fun fact off the top.
Yep.
Share a birthday date, 9th of January, 1996. So a good day for the club.
Special day each year.
Good year, 96 for us.
I remember we had a great day at Riva one day, did we?
Yep. Unreal day at Reba.
Yeah. Was there a third person
Track
involved?
on the 4th, but that was like let's just all do one together.
Let's just add track for no reason.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway.
Before we get into genuine nibbler stuff, we got to talk about the W on the weekend against the Dogs.
So he's talking about the win, if you can't understand what he's talking about. Understood.
Good win. Good win, lads. 30 points. 30?
28?
28.
Gibbo?
Yeah.
28.
In front of no crowd. Some good efforts from a few of our boys. Harmsy.
Yeah, unreal.
Tagged Liberatore. Did he tag him out of the game, or was Libba was still okay? I think he had a couple of clearances.
Okay, but he's the head of their snake, their metaphorical snake. You cut the head off, and then the rest of the snake dies. He's their heart and soul, I think, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, I wasn't going to use that analogy, but
that's huge.
Cut the head off the snake. You never heard of that one?
It was brilliant, Harmsy.
Nibbler and his small forwards did a job on Caleb Daniel.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, well and truly.
Well, it's been a few years coming, that one.
Yeah.
Played a lot of footy with Caleb.
Yeah, you're a mate.
Yeah.
Both from the city of Churches.
Yeah.
We actually won South Australia, won the under
Did you?
champs, didn't we, Gus? Is that right?
Yeah, well, mate, we could talk all day about that.
What happened to Metro?
Caleb.
Well, we had a policy where we would try and get the most players drafted as possible. So I think we had like 50 players drafted from Metro, and then I think you guys only played 23 players throughout the carnival.
See, I feel like the Melbourne Football Club are now replicating what South Australia did.
Yeah,
Just
right.
the team brand of footy.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that given the opportunity, we would have had the same sort of attitude, but we were just more inclusive. I think it's probably
You know
the
what?
best
Actually, while we're on this,
Go on.
I was speaking to a teammate the other day.
Which one?
Positive Lingers.
Yeah.
Son?
He told me.
Did he make Metro?
He
Good on him.
played the first few games. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
First game in South Australia at Amy Stadium,
Which we won.
which he won.
And didn't
He kicked 4 goals.
Yeah.
Playing forward pocket.
Son?
And then he tells me later he didn't play in the final, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why they lost.
Couldn't agree more. That's what I'm saying. You want to pick your best team, sure, then a different story, I reckon. But did Track knock you out that day?
There was a bit of beef that day.
I remember, and here's
and
one.
Bill's up?
Yes. So Bill and
Here we go, Billy.
Billy and I were playing on the wing together.
What did he do?
There's vision of this.
There's vision. We'll find the
We'll get
vision.
it up.
Dig it up. Track just nailed you, and it was. And if we're looking back, probably could have done without. Like, I mean, I don't think it was exactly necessary, but he did it. And there's a bit going on. Bill and I are mates, so we're standing out on the wing, and we're looking at each other, and it's on. And we're like, well, we don't really, because Bill's a lover, not a fighter, and so am I. And we sort of look at each other and like, we'll just look tough here. And, you know, the old fake jumper punch type operation. You can see the fight's there, the camera's here, and in the middle is Bill and I just by ourselves having a fake fight.
Did you go to the Ritz after party and watch Daryl Braithwaite as well?
No, I didn't get there, no.
That was just Gus.
That was me. Happiest night of my life.
The first time I met Gus. That photo.
Happiest night of my life.
There's a great photo of you at front row of Daryl Braithwaite at
Yeah,
Ritz.
and Danielle's in it as well.
Yeah.
In the photo.
And she's got my elbow in her face as I'm again. Because this is a great story, probably off camera. I sit there for 3 hours, right?
Waiting for Daryl.
At the front row, not drinking, not really wanting to be there, but I'm like, Daryl's there, I'm going to say. And no one's wanting anything to do with me. I'm this weird bloke standing at the front.
With his deck chair at the
my
front
deck
row
chair
of
at the
Ritz.
front. And then like fast forward 2 hours and 55 minutes, I've become the most popular bloke in the entire venue. Everyone's like, oh, do you mind if I come stand there? Like, hey Gus, hey mate, how you going? And I'm like, boys and girls, doesn't matter. I'm not here for anything. I'm here to watch Daryl. And Danielle finds her way in there. And hey Danielle, how you going? Not too bad, mate, yourself. Daryl comes on and there's a photo. We can get the photo up. It's not looking great for me, but I've elbowed her in the face just about. And here we are now. Still in
the other day when he was on our flight to Adelaide.
Well, Choco got a hold of him. I couldn't get near him.
Daryl got Choco's signature, didn't he?
I think so.
I was meant to go to the show on Friday.
Yeah, got free tickets.
List.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
That's a real low point of Daryl's career at Ritz, is it?
Well, no, he fist bumped me. No, it's top shelf stuff, man. It's top shelf. Doesn't get better. And he
There's
fist
no
bumped
one
me.
over there. You were the oldest there, born in January.
Yeah, I would have been. Lingers, you want to talk to someone about Ritz, you should speak to Lingers. It's around the corner from his joint. He used to frequent there often.
We need to talk about the preparation
Probably should talk
for
about something
game.
other than Ritz.
The game day prep was sort of spiraled out of control. No, out of control would be the word. We were still in control.
It's all you here, mate. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Well, it changed on us real quickly. COVID sort of hit around Wednesday.
Yep.
There was a Melbourne player at a Tier 1 venue. Still don't really know what Tier 1 venue means. Apparently got isolated for 14 days.
Yeah, the unnamed player is still in isolation.
The unnamed player, we don't even know who it is. Everyone's in today, and we're just waiting to see who doesn't rock up, really.
Yeah, that's the way I'm doing it. I don't know who it is.
And then we had to do captain's run at home. Did you do anything different?
Yeah, I cleared out my courtyard.
Did you?
Moved the barbecue aside, and I got a brick wall out the back, and I was just peppering in tennis balls, footies, a kick. As Choco sent through.
Yeah.
I got it done.
I ran on the treadmill for 3.5K. I haven't done a treadmill run for a good 6 years, I reckon.
3.5K is a bit as well.
Yeah, well, Darren Burgess, the guru, told me to do a 20-minute jog. So if I say 3.5K, everyone's looking at me going, you've run very slowly there. But I ran 3.5K and then stopped. It was pre-20 minutes. I was very quick. And then, I've got a little home gym set up, so I did a couple of weights exercises. Then we did a Zoom sort of F45 class. It was weird.
Yeah. Run by Harmsy, or what's he?
Harmsy spoke.
Harmsy was the only one with his mic off, although you thought you had your mic on.
That's so funny. So my speakerphone doesn't work, and I was talking. So I had my phone set up as the camera for the Zoom, and was talking for a good 5 minutes, and no one, I think Harmsy and Riv was trying, oi, Gussie, what do you reckon? And I'm like, yeah, bro. And I was talking back. And then I was like, why isn't anyone talking back to me? And then I figured out and felt like a bit of a goose nibber. But no, I did I had a little home gym set up as well. Did some pipes. But other than that, I thought I handled it pretty well.
Then we had
you can get through anything, really.
100%. And that's great insight from Nibber as well. Feel free to jump in with all that, because we probably missed a bit of that last week with Clary. So.
And then we had our team meeting on Zoom as well. And it brings me to my favourite part of the podcast.
Is this when I also stuffed up?
Is when Angus had a chance to set the scene for because Goody was a little bit worried about how it was going to be received on Zoom, and was Luke Jackson going to be there, or was he going to be playing Xbox in the background, and they were all genuine questions. So through to a leader. He threw to the leader of the Wingers Club.
Can I just give some context? And everyone who listens, I'm certain will have tried Zoom at some point. Your mic starts muted.
Yeah.
All right?
So you're on mute for the initial part of your answer.
Well, so is everyone. Goody's unmuted himself.
So we had an awkward silence for about 30 seconds. Then you finally tuned back in and gave us the wrong answer of how we want to be known, which Goody put on the whiteboard at the start of the year and has referred to every week since. He got it wrong.
I didn't get it wrong. I just didn't get it fully right. I would get half marks. I'd probably get half marks for some of my answers, but it wasn't a great
But
start.
then he gave you another chance game day in the team meeting and you nailed it.
And he came up to me about 5 minutes before the team meeting and gave me the answer. So I couldn't get it wrong.
You know what I loved about that, though? You know how sometimes when a coach asks you a question in a meeting and you've got the answer completely wrong, but they still say, yeah, that's right. And what else? Where Goody in this moment was like, no, Gussie, you've got that entirely wrong. He was just accountable to the answer.
Yeah, good on him.
Oh, Harmsy's the best of that. Harmsy in the midfield meeting sits at the front and answers Ooz's questions within the second, and he's always the first to answer, and they're a 50-50 hit rate. But Ooze is too nice. Ooze is too nice. Yeah, we can do that, Harmsy, but not what I'm looking for.
What else have we got out there, boys?
And then we got an email from the doctor. I got my email at around 8:30 p.m. telling me that
when I got mine.
Telling me that the COVID test was negative and the rules were you're allowed to go out, but I wasn't going to do much on a Friday night.
Not a heap.
Once I got given the negative test, so I went for a walk morning of, and then we got to game. Last year we had to shower before rocking up to the game. Once COVID hit, I'm glad they've got rid of that rule.
Yep, don't have to do that anymore.
There was no shower pre-game. Anything weird at the game? Obviously the mask wearing. We didn't have to do that last year.
It was weird. No crowd was again. I know we played in front of no crowds again for was it a couple of games last year?
Yeah, 2 at the G and 1 at Marvel.
Yeah, okay. And so it's not technically new. I found that real weird. You could hear it was like eerie sort of feel in the stadium. It's not the same without the fans. So I found
you described it really well.
Thank you.
No worries. You notice anything different game day?
Nah, maybe singing the song. That was a moment.
Mask on walking in. There's actually a funny vision of Tom McDonald's mask breaking. I'll see if I can get that. I've been in a real TikTok rabbit hole over the last day. Have you been on TikTok? I downloaded the app 4 days ago and I've been in some rabbit holes.
I have made a real conscious objection not to get on TikTok. Did you know that there was this huge TikTok thing because of communism where the Chinese people had like the rights to TikTok or something and then the American government was going to ban it?
Did you know that one of the people in this room
He's a communist?
have a TikTok account? Yep, there we go. Raising his hand. Benny Gibson.
No.
So you've been on it for 4 days. I hate TikTok. I hate the premise, and I don't use it. Do you like it?
It's when you're scrolling through Facebook looking for funny videos. It's that.
Okay.
So you're not a poster. You don't.
No, I'm not a poster. I haven't done a post. No.
Jeez, if you ever post, I'm quitting the podcast and smacking.
There was a challenge in COVID last year where we had to come up with a TikTok.
Yeah, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
I did that.
You did a golf thing.
Timeless golf video.
Yeah.
That's not a TikTok.
Yeah, well, could have gone on TikTok. That's what's on there.
Ford's got posted on TikTok. A family friend sent me a TikTok that I was in.
Wow.
It's on one of the boys' accounts.
Mitch Brown.
Yeah, Brown. Yeah.
Brownie's a good TikToker.
Friend of ours?
No, he hasn't.
Brown?
Yeah, he hasn't come on yet. You obviously first time on the podcast. You've been hearing good things.
Oh, there's been a few things I've been impressed with this year.
Go on.
Well, one being the Melbourne Demons form.
Yep. That's one.
The booming house prices in Melbourne.
Yep. Have you got involved in the market? Or?
Yeah, I'm in there.
Yep.
I'm in there.
Yep.
In Camberwell region.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. And then one other thing though is the growth of this podcast. It's taken over the Melbourne brand, I feel. So it's a credit to you boys for the work you're doing.
Thanks, Alex. Speaking of the booming house market.
Go on.
So for a couple of weeks there's been an investigation. Danielle told Jess that she was going to move in to Angus and Aaron's house, and she still hasn't. And now there's news that the family have just brought a absolute mansion.
Yep.
And she's not looking like moving in.
Also, I said to Max before, I said this isn't going to be interesting, but you want me to go through it? Happy to.
Well, shorten it.
So first of all, it's bought. They didn't brought a house.
Buy, bought, bring, brought.
They bought a house and then brought the house. Okay. So we'll get that one out of the way.
Jordan Lewis taught me that. I should be better.
Well, we'll get Louis on to clarify. So look, Danielle, yes, she was going to move in, and then they got a lot of clothes, and she said, it's a lot of effort. When really all I have to do is just clean my room so people can come through and inspect the house so they don't know I'm living there. So she's like, I'm probably just going to clean my room. That's fine.
So the decision was based on clothes?
No, at early days. So when you led with it was a terrible take, but when you led with it, that was when she was umming and ahhing and said, I'll just wait until we get kicked out.
Didn't sound like umming and ahhing when I heard it.
So then they sold their house. They had a 60-day settlement, and then she's like, okay, I'll probably move in after the settlement if we haven't found somewhere to live. They found somewhere to live. They bought a house. So she's probably tossing up living there, or one of her mates has just moved out of a share house and she's thinking about moving in there.
Okay.
I'm probably option number 3 at the moment, which is terrible because I would have loved. It's a missed opportunity because I would have loved it. Max, you know how much Danielle means to me and how much a special time it would have been if we lived together. But unfortunately, it seems like that boat's.
Can we get the exact minute that he said that on the?
That ship set sailed, and look, what happens in the future is up for any. No one knows. Are we going to be playing in Melbourne next week?
Correct.
Is Danielle going to be?
Well, my future's. I don't know. I mean, I got told if I mentioned Jess on the podcast again without her consent, that I could be.
Well, Clary took the feedback. So Jess has been Nibbler hating.
What are your thoughts on Clayton's Insta stories?
You don't even look.
Yeah, so it's Clary.
So Jess basically hates Clary. Hates the Insta stories he's been putting up. And
no. That's not what she said.
Jeez, I'm going to unfollow Clayton if he doesn't change his stories up.
No, that's allegedly what she said.
So Clary's gone and changed his stories. Instead of putting up FIFA, he's put up like 5 stories of him playing chess.
Tag Jess and all them. Let's get on to Nibbler.
Let's.
All right.
You got a great story. I actually love Nibbler's story. We could talk about this.
Well, we can go back class of 2014.
Unreal. Great year for us.
And it was a star-studded draft. Angus Brayshaw, Christian Petracca. Were you the next pick?
Yes.
Alex Neal-Bullen.
You were, and then Stretchy.
Oh, yeah.
Stretchy, Oscar McDonald, Aaron Vandenberg.
Mitch White,
captain of Casey, still lingering. Lingering's got bad negative connotations to it. He's not lingering, he's performing at Casey. I don't know why I said lingering. And my favourite is because it was star-studded. And we had a star-studded coach in Paul Roos. Alex was either called Alex or Nibbler. And recently Johnny, because of another coach, has called him Johnny in one meeting. So there are his 3 nicknames he sort of goes by. Roosie got a little bit caught up in Petracca and Brayshaw and kind of forgot. My take was he forgot who Nibbler was. And he ran with Neely.
Oh, God. Do you want me to set the scene?
Go on, please.
So we're out on the track. It's the season's well and truly underway. It's probably about this time of year. I'm doing my thing in the twos, trying my hardest, getting a kick as well.
Yeah.
and he comes in, he goes, all right, boys, the first juries you'll be out of this drill. Oh, no worries. He goes, Track, Gussie, Whitey, Vantage, Stretchy.
He hasn't mentioned Whitey.
You'll all be out. Everyone else was like, oh, yeah, is he going to mention Nibba? And he goes, oh, who else is there? And he goes, oh, Nibs. And everyone's like, he's forgotten his name. And he goes, nearly. Off you get, mate.
And we're all still wondering who he's talking about.
I'll walk off. And then, no joke, a week later, we're in the team meeting room next door here. And he's talking about, you know, we got to lead by example, the leaders in this room. So I don't care if you, and he points to Dunny right next to him, Lyndon Dunn, who's been here for years. Or if you, and I'm just happen to be sitting next to him. He goes, or if you're nearly, I don't care if you're nearly, you got to always perform. And I'm like, oh, geez, I must be a while off here, boys. Nearly.
I'm surprised it didn't stick. I'm surprised it didn't stick.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
We can get it going.
But have come a long way since the coach began your name. And another little one that I just want to go by, early days with Alex. Alex and I bonded straight away. And we had one day where we went to a music festival. Laneway?
Sticky Fingers?
Laneway Festival. Pre-season. February. Not even close to practice games. We'd had a big week on the track. Saturdays you're allowed to have a couple of drinks. And I had a few people over before I went to the festival. And there was, I would say, about 20, 25.
Yeah.
And there was a photo of me and Nibbler that got put on Facebook. And everyone's beer bottle was on the table, but only me and Nibbler could be seen on the table. So it did look like Alex and I were having a genuine go.
It's me and Maxie just sitting there.
And we thought nothing of it. Great day at the festival. Sunday, did our recovery. Monday, came to training. And the team meeting, we walked in and there's a photo. That photo's on the board as we walk in.
I generally thought my career was done. Right there.
Nearly. You've gone from nearly to getting stitched up and drinking too
His
much.
manager told him I was a bad influence.
Well, you know.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, anyway.
But now... all that coming up to 100 games and just signed a 2-year extension, which
is incredible.
I told you on the weekend. It was my happy news story of the year. I'm incredibly proud of you. And I watched your interview on the lesser ranking show on the website.
There's another show?
Yeah, there's another show apparently. Talking Points, is it? Oh, was it? Okay. Sorry. And you said, to your own words, that you were asked to sort of shop around a little bit throughout your career, and especially at the end of last year. And I see it very similar to the Tom McDonald story, the way you came back, and you're a leader at the club now, and it's honestly the best news story of the year, seeing Alex Neal-Bullen, a guy who does a lot of the hard grunt work. And yeah, so I'm stoked for you. And obviously it was a pretty easy decision to sign the 2 years.
Oh, absolutely. You come, I rewind 6 months ago, and yeah, I'm sitting there unknowing if I'm going to be wearing the number 30 ever again. To be halfway through the season and be locked away for another 2 years, that for me is just a guaranteed ticket to sit in this footy club and know that I'm going to be part of whatever the next 2 years looks like. And yeah, never did I think twice about signing that, because that's an opportunity that I am very grateful for.
How does that feel? Like, you're a passionate Melbourne man. I think there's no denying that. Like,
Melbourne supporter. He's a passionate Adelaide boy, still at heart.
Melbourne, Melbourne footballer. I was like, Melbourne Football Club.
Yeah.
Man, and love the club. You love your teammates. Very tight. We've got a close group, and you're a real part of that. And to be told, I'm interested in your mindset. So they tell you it's the reality of football to look somewhere else. It doesn't work out. You have to come back. What was your mindset like over the preseason, and how do you sort of come back into a club where they've told you to look somewhere else? How's that mindset for you?
Probably should clear up as well. It wasn't like they were like, "There's no opportunity here for you. We don't want you." It was more the honest conversation around, look, if there is another opportunity there for you, we're willing to let you pursue that, just for your own growth as a player. My first thought was, well, I respect the boys because they're giving me this information. It was in the trade period last year where there was some clubs that probably did it differently to what they did with me and Tommy.
Yep.
So I saw that straight away and thought, all right, they've got the respect there. It's obviously hard to hear and hard to give that information to me from both parties, but I just went away, absolutely worked my backside off, understanding if there is an opportunity out there, that I'll be in a good position if I go pursue that opportunity, or if I come back to the footy club, because I still had a year to go, that the sky's the limit. There's no limit on what I can do, but also what this team can do. And I always believed that I was a huge part of this footy club. And like you touched on, we came into the club together, and we've got that core group that I feel like drive this footy club, led by Maxi, and I want to be a part of that. And there's no reason why I'm sitting here now thanking myself. A lot of that came from the back of Goody's expectation when I came back. I touched on before, as soon as the trade period finished, literally within 2 minutes, he called me and just said, "Mate, I'm so stoked that you're still at this footy club. I can't wait to get to work with you. Let's see what we can do." And that, for me, I was already in a good mindset, but that just reassured I'm at the best footy club I can be at here. And yeah, we're having some good success at the moment.
You said you worked your backside off. That technically isn't really something that you needed to do to get to the top of the 3K train again, because you're already relatively at the top of that running class. I would say your biggest improvement this year has been finishing your work, your goal kicking, your class with the ball, your ability to win contested ball. Is that something you worked on as well, or is that more of a confidence thing? Maybe potentially being backed in early on in the year, and you played some really good footy in the 2 JLT games, and then to be backed in throughout. You've had bad games this year, we all have. Is it more of a confidence thing that's brought you to that new level?
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that. Probably the biggest thing was, to be honest, when the penny dropped, as they say, was when the leadership group was announced, and I was a part of that. Yep. When we got called up, there was a text message from Goody with all the boys who were in the leadership group, and I was a part of that. And my first thought was, geez, am I getting sat down here by the leadership group? Like, what's going on here? And for me to be a part of that, and knowing that not only the coaches have seen what I'm doing at this footy club, but also my peers, gave me a huge bit of confidence that what I'm doing here is like being noticed and it's valued. So that just, I guess, gave me a platform to keep on the path that I'm going, which is, performing my role, but also to the excellence piece of it. And on top of that was just, when I say work my backside off, I always will run hard and do all the things, but it's more about the finish, the polish that you touched on. Did some stuff with Harmsy where we just went away, chipped away at some fundamentals, and that now has my game at a level that is acceptable, but understanding for me, I want to keep going and improving and be a great player for this team.
What stat are you most proud of when you finish a game of footy? The small forwards, it's an interesting crew. You, Spargs and Cos, and Cade Chandler and Toby Bedford are genuinely part of that as well. What stat does that group of 5 small forwards really appreciate the most?
To keep it simple, probably when the ball hits the ground in the forward 50, whether we got a stat here, if we win the ground ball, if we're in the positives, or if the opposition do get the ground ball, the ability for us to lay a tackle or put them under pressure so they sky the ball out of their D50. So they're probably the 2 things. And then just another layer of that is our polish and fundamentals around the contest. So if we get a handball receive, it's about hitting the target in front of you, because then we can control the game and we play the game on our level.
Yes, you must be proud of some of those boys. Charles's game on the weekend, he's becoming a Mark Oppo king. Oh. And Cozzy, obviously, from the get-go this season, and Cade Chandler's come in and played some good footy, and Toby's actually playing some seriously good footy in the VFL and can't get a look in.
Well and truly. Yeah, just on Sparks, there was a moment in the game where one of the boys, I think it might have been Hibbo, was caught in our defensive goal square, and he's had to see Charlie, hit him up, and Charlie's taken a contested mark in our D50 where there was 3 doggies around him, and if he doesn't juke that, they're turning around and kicking a goal. So it's just those things that we've all worked on, but for Charlie, his growth has been huge for this footy club.
The most important signing, obviously Alex is extremely important to end of 2023, but not the most important Neal-Bullen for the Melbourne Football Club.
No, not by a stretch, mind you. Got to talk about it.
It is the Demon Army leader, I would dare say.
Stalwart
of the heart and soul of the Demon Army, in your mum Sharon, who famously, my favourite thing is being there as support for the 3K time trial one year. She'd come down and support, and I don't think she's missed a game. I could stand corrected. She probably missed a couple there.
Friday night.
Sorry.
She did home on the couch. But
she did miss Friday, but seeing her in the cheer squad, and there's a funny bit of vision that got put up in our leadership group about 5 weeks ago of Sharon Neal-Bullen starting the Gawny chant in the cheer squad.
Top shelf stuff. She's as Melbourne supporters as ever been, I reckon.
Yeah, and she's the biggest thing with that is, like, Gussie came back in our first off season, and like the ability for her to meet my new friends at that point in my career as an 18-year-old, she just could see how much I enjoyed my time here in Melbourne, and that for her is like my son shipped off out of the nest at home, and he's in a comfortable position making all these new memories and friends. So she just loves being a part of the footy club. And yeah,
absolutely.
She doesn't miss her moment. Literally, I'll be like, are you coming over this weekend, Mum? She goes, yep, but I don't need a ticket. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, oh, D-Army got me a ticket. I'm down there.
There's a classic. I remember genuinely laughing. We've got with the COVID restrictions, no partners allowed in. There's an allocation of 10. You get 10 people to come in the rooms after the game, and usually it's the board members. So people in suits and hands shaking, very professional. And then we finish singing the song. I go in, get a drink, come back out to do some stretching, and Shaz has got her wee on sitting in, has found her way in, just walked straight by the security guys. Must know
shaking Vicky's Bart's.
And it's just sitting there. Oh, g'day, Gussie. And I'm like, Shaz, get over there, give her a big hug.
She actually got into the burgers after the game.
Yeah, got a free burger as well. Got a feed out of it as well. So it's unreal. I don't know how on earth she's managed that with all the COVID restrictions. But it's unreal.
You got anything else for Nibbler?
No, we could talk a whole different podcast about that time we came back for our Bernie Vince's 30th weekend in Adelaide when I stayed with Nibba.
Yep.
Made some great memories there. But
I made some great memories of Bernie Vince's 30th as well. Must have been a great weekend for all.
Every year everyone goes to Adelaide. I wish I didn't take it for granted.
We made the most of it.
Do you want to join in this last segment with us? It's one of our favourite. What is your relationship with Langers?
Yeah, good. Really, positive.
Would you wear a T-shirt?
I'd wear a T-shirt.
Yeah, we got to get some more. We got to make some more.
Can we get a discount potentially for us?
I can. Right. Well, I mean, hey. There's someone who I'm not going to name because it's going to get cut out if she hears it, but we'll have to go through that channel.
I'll cut you off now.
Communism.
Let's do the segment.
It's Eddie Langdon's segment. Short one this week. We've had are you familiar with the segment?
No, I'm not.
So essentially, it's pretty self-explanatory. We just pick something out that Lingers has done that we really like.
Unfortunately, nothing that we like. It's probably more dislike this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, this week, Langer's got a head knock and was concussed and subbed off late. So, part of the Wingers Club, my duty is to check up, see how he's going, and I can report back that he's in good spirits, his head's feeling better.
That's good.
And what I love the most is he's already, as the president of the club, deep in discussions about who's going to take his place.
So he's called Goody.
He's called Goody. He's gone the front foot. Yep. He's doing presidential things.
Can you leak anything?
Look, loose lips sink ships, and ours is a watertight vessel, so I won't be doing that. But Lingers will speak when he's ready, and I'm just loving how he's still involved as a part. You talk about connection and being part of a group. Well, he's really involved.
How would you go if Goody picks someone outside of the Wingers Club?
Well, look, we've spoken about class action before. So one week, Lingers had like 5 back with the flight spoils one week, and he and I went up to Choco and said, because Choco runs the tackle and tough department for us, which is something that we value as a group. And we said, Choco, if Lingers doesn't get recognised in tackle and tough, Rossman, Baker, Brayshaw, Langdon, throw in the Jim Jordan, are just going to stand up. Nitschke, we're just going to stand up and walk out. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have a ride on your hands. And I think that sort of class action is potentially something. I don't even know what the question was. What did you say?
There's rumours that will never go away that Tom McDonald will play wing again at some point.
Well, Tommy Mack I would be surprised if he didn't stand up and walk out with us. Lingers is really driving a real tight-knit culture, so I'll let him do the talking.
So he's going well. I'm pretty sure he's the 14-day protocol, so he'll miss 12-day. So he'll miss this week.
Definitely miss this week.
Have him back for Queen's birthday. I'm predicting, we usually do a bit of a team selection I'm predicting that will be the only change, but...
Yeah.
I've been wrong every week.
Yeah.
So I'll probably
Who comes in, even though you've got absolutely no say in the Wingers Club activities?
I'm going to run with Sauce, but I could also see a way of getting Tom Sparrow in and moving the mids around. So
you're not going with anything?
They're sort of your 2 options. And Brisbane, Lachie Neale could be in.
Yep.
Neely? Do you know? You know Neil.
Neely.
Yeah, Neely. He's another good Glenelg boy, but he's got an E on the end of his Neil.
You were a Y, nearly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thanks, Nibbler.
Good podcast. We're back.
Thanks, Gibbo. We're back. We're just all about the guest, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
You're doing good things.
Yeah, cheers, Nibber. We'll get you a T-shirt soon.
Back next week.
So yeah.